Scientists made a fake arm with a sense of touch and installed it on the body of a soldier who lost his arm. The nervous system made of nanocarbon fiber will quickly connect to the brain. The soldier tried to punch his finger. After determining that he really regained his sense of touch, he took a glass ball and placed it on the palm of his hand. He pressed the whole thing a little hard and pressed it into powder. And the skin on his arm was made up of pig skin. Every one of them is connected to the spinal nerve. So he can feel the distinct touch of sand. The excited soldier proposed to touch the beautiful scientist in front of him. But the scientist, Winston, was against it. After all, nanocarbon fiber arms are powerful and uncontrollable. It's too dangerous to do this. But Sui agreed to do it without hesitation.
Pretty in control to me.
After that, Sui reached out her hand. This is the first time the soldier has touched a woman since he lost his arm. It was obvious that he was in a state of intoxication. But he suddenly pulled Sui to the corner. Then he said something inexplicable to her. Although the next second, the soldier said that he was just kidding. But the soldier's words could not go out from her mind for a long time. Suddenly, she decided to do something. She secretly opened the information in the company's 6 districts. But it showed that she did not have access rights. Sui realized something was wrong. So she sneaked into the 6 districts to see what was going on. But what she didn't expect was that the soldiers who had become disabled because of the war had become prisoners one by one. Not only did they lose their freedom, but they were often regarded as experimental products. Sui looked at everything in front of her in an incredible way. Unexpectedly, her passage attracted the attention of the short-haired girl. The short-haired girl told this news to the white-haired boy. He is in charge of an AI research organization that cooperates with the military. As the top leader of the company, the white-haired boy seems to be trying to make a profit for these disabled soldiers, to make up for their disabled legs. But in fact, he just wanted to build a killing machine with superpowers through the way the soldiers conduct physical experiments. So when he learned that Sui had discovered his secret, he listed her on the list of deaths. Soon after, the white-haired boy began to tremble, unable to hide on the way home from Sui. At this time, Sui told the secret of the company to the male leader, Vincent. He didn't know that the other party had long known the ambition of the white-haired boy. But because his daughter had a terminal illness, he could only choose to disappear. Vincent originally wanted to use the technology of the human-made machine to direct his daughter's consciousness directly into the machine to save his daughter. He said that after completing this task, he would resign and leave this unscrupulous company. When Sui learned the truth, she had an idea to help him. But when the two of them discussed the next plan, the killer sent by the white-haired boy came after him. He dressed up as a woman and attracted Sui's attention. Then he took the opportunity to knock her down. As for Vincent, he also knocked him down. When Vincent woke up again, he found that Sui had died. But the white-haired guy didn't feel guilty at all. Instead, he claimed that the person who attacked them was the enemy agent. Vincent naturally didn't believe him. He also knew that all this was done by the other party. His purpose was to kill the police. Vincent saw that Sui had applied for memory storage and thought ahead. He decided to put artificial intelligence into the physical experiment stage, which is to put Sui consciousness into the robot body. Does the human consciousness transfer to the body of the robot mean eternal life? This is a storage module that stores human memory. Scientists put it in the robot's head and injected the world's most advanced simulation blood vessel for it. This blood vessel is a nanomaterial that can be attached to the surface of metal. Not only can it simulate the elasticity of human muscle fibers, it can also protect the internal carbon skeleton. With the injection of the blood vessel, the world's first simulated reincarnation was born. Next, Vincent started the robot's new life. He took a small knife and slowly slid it open to wrap the silicone protective layer outside the robot. What immediately appeared in front of everyone was a face that was no different from a real person.
Machine, open your eyes.
What is puzzling about Vincent is that the machine does not have the human memory planted by him. It is as blank as a new machine. Is it a data delay? To wake up her memory data, Vincent used the spider she was most afraid of when she was a baby. Unexpectedly, although the baby was afraid, she acted more like a child in childhood. Vincent stopped the test. At the same time, the hospital spread the bad news about his daughter. Because of the deterioration of her condition, she did not have many days to live. There was no choice. He had to extract her consciousness first. Wait for Vincent's skills to mature, then he could resurrect her. However, after Vincent was stimulated, there was still no memory of her babyhood. It seems that the experiment failed. Vincent just made a mistake. Since it was impossible to make human machines fly mechanically through the machine, it was better to take advantage of it and transform it into a killing machine. So he took the baby to a prisoner with a fake killer's hat.
And killed your mother.
At this time, the baby, like a child, only showed fear and anger. Vincent ordered the killer to let go. Under his constant pressure, the baby showed the computing ability of the high-performance chip. Not only did it break the other party's consensus in time, but also killed it. Thompson was very satisfied. This is what a killing machine should look like. On the other hand, Vincent, who had just done the funeral for his daughter, was in a bad mood. He went back to the company and forced the baby to think about what he was thinking. And the baby was very obedient to Vincent's instructions. At that moment, it was shown in his mind that Vincent had enlarged the baby's pupils and found his own image on the red screen. This is when he realized that the baby had fallen in love with himself. This means that he has born his own consciousness. So he found Vincent together and told him about the situation of the baby's birth consciousness. The experiment needs to be further developed, but Vincent didn't think so. Now what he wants is an ultimate weapon that can absolutely obey orders, instead of a self-contradictory person. Vincent was also anxious. He threatened to resign. Unexpectedly, Thompson had already stolen his daughter's consciousness. If he didn't solve the problem of the baby's birth consciousness, he would delete his daughter's consciousness. When the baby knew everything, he was willing to sacrifice himself for the person he loved.
I blame you, Vincent. You tried to protect me. Save your daughter.
Winston himself cut off the baby's cerebral brain skin.
I'm afraid. I don't want to die.
Although the baby showed the fear that humans should have, Vincent was already at a loss. But he still took out her consciousness. He didn't think that by completing the task, the white-haired man would return his daughter's consciousness. Unexpectedly, he was rebelling against evil and intended to threaten to control Vincent with death. Without her own consciousness, the baby completely became a killing machine that absolutely obeyed orders and became the most perfect image in the heart of the white-haired man. Even if Vincent stood in front of him, she would still knock him down. The white-haired man was very satisfied. It seemed that everything was under his control. But another scientist in the lab found that the module that Vincent had taken out was actually just a spare battery. When the white-haired man heard this news, it was already too late. At this time, the baby had already invaded the boss and saved Vincent. The white-haired man suddenly became angry and sent dozens of killers to kill the two people. But the ability of the baby was far beyond his imagination. Even if she was attacked by the soldiers, they could not break the nanoparticles on the robot. She killed the office head of the white-haired man all the way. The white-haired man has no way to go. But he still had the last line of defense in his hand. The white-haired guy broke the office's safety net. The fate of the white-haired guy was obvious. He paid a painful price for the mistakes he had made before. Finally, the machine had found Vincent's daughter's consciousness in the computer and put it directly into her brain. But now the company has been shut down and no nanoparticles have been produced for the time being. Vincent had to first simulate the daughter's consciousness in the way of simulation data and AI generation or in the computer. When the technology is mature, it can complete the real mechanical life. In the future, can humans really break the limit of the way of existence of life and reach eternity? And is the same memory equivalent to the existence of consciousness? If this technology is really realized, will you try it?